Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. Everybody's working for the weekend. Taking care of business every day. Now it's wow, welcome to the working week.
Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living.
Minimum wage. Yeah!
Welcome to another edition of the Working Lunch here on WCUW 91.3 FM, as well as the Worcester Government Channel. Want to say hello, or actually I guess goodbye to Rosa and Loretta from Wednesday Morning Jukebox that precede us here on the radio station. They did a great job with their show. Very nice people. I guess you'd say they're the Ginchiest. They taught me that word, Ginchi.
Yeah, they are Ginchy.
Ginchi, I guess, yeah. They also helped clean the studio, they said, sterilize things down with some Lysol, whatever. So it's good to know.
Is that what the headphones went?
It's good to know that we're coming into a clean studio. Yeah, I'm feeling a little naked today without the headphones.
Yeah.
And pants. I've got no pants on.
It doesn't look like you're on the radio. It just kind of looks like you're sitting here.
Yeah, well, that's how it works.
Next investment, right?
That's yeah. So welcome to another edition. I am Jeff Turgeon, the Executive Director over at the Central Mass Workforce Investment Board. And with me co-hosting.
Yeah, I'm Sean McCarthy, also with the CMWIB. I do communications there. And I also just wanted to just draw the viewers' attention to our new banners that we had made up by Alpha Graphics. So.
You want to thank them for their great service that they did putting those together. Did a great job with that, grommets and all. Yeah, great color. Sean helped design the logo, so excited about that. So, but again, welcome to another edition. Just for those, we always kind of start the show with a brief introduction about our work at the Workforce Investment Board. We do oversee the public workforce system.
Yeah, what's going on?
Exactly, here in Central Massachusetts. That's Worcester and 38 total communities here in Central Massachusetts, including the work over at Workforce Central, one of America's job centers, helping connect employers with job seekers. So. Lots going on in the region. It's been a very busy time for us, notwithstanding all the different things happening politically. It's budget season and things happening on the federal level, on the state level. There's also just a lot of activities going on, a lot of special projects happening that we're real excited about at the Workforce Investment Board and at the Career Center. So do want to start the show also by reminding folks they can email us. I know we've got later in the show a segment. We pull at... we comb through and pull a relevant question that comes in via email. I know that's kind of tough we do get a bunch of emails that you have to sift through, but we do try to highlight at least one or two emails that come in. And so that address for folks that might want to email us questions of a workforce-related nature would be workinglunch@wcuw.org.
Yep.
So again, working lunch, spelled out, nothing in between or anything. workinglunch@wcuw.org, and I'm looking at our camera person Jessica from the government channel. Probably have that chironed in,
right
I
here,
guess. Yeah,
right in this area,
right there. So we do appreciate getting emails from folks. But just to talk too, I mean, some of the things that are coming up.
Yeah.
We have a huge job fair that the team at Workforce Center is putting together. I know John McCarthy, Jensen Cortez, and the staff at Workforce Central, Amy Mosier, and others, really working hard at putting together that fair.
Yeah.
Have over 70,
that's great.
75 companies registered already. That's going to be March 15th. That's a Friday at the DCU Center, and it's sponsored in part with the DCU and Center and the Worcester Sharks.
Yep.
And there's, I believe it's buy one, get one free tickets for the Sharks game after the career fair. That runs in the afternoon. The career fair is from 1 to 5.
Yeah, and I think Avery Bradley is also going to be at the Sharks game signing autographs. So
From the Boston Celtics.
From the Boston Celtics.
Exactly. He has not... he won't be skating for the Sharks. I
don't know.
He's not suiting up for the Sharks, but it's great to see that... that event too. So it should be a great day. We also have later in the month on March 26th, in partnership with the folks at Worcester State University, a college student and high school senior career fair, career community engagement fair. So it's really helping connect young people with jobs, summer jobs, part-time jobs, internships,
volunteerships.
So really getting them involved in the community, both for this summer and beyond, really, when you think about it. So lots happening there.
And how many players do we have signed on for that?
Geez, I know that we have space for about 35, and I think we're getting close. So and of course, if anyone's listening to this and they want to be involved, they can contact us at the Workforce Investment Board. We are online, www.cmwib.org.
Right.
O-R-G. So, we got a great show today. We've got some special guests coming on to talk about some different things.
Yeah.
And so I think we're actually going to turn now to our first discussion about the DCU job fair and about some other things that are happening. Their business service reps at Workforce Central, John McCarthy and Sandra Rosario. So why don't we go ahead, Bob? Are we ready to, our producer Bob Zukowski, Bob, are we ready to roll that interview?
We are ready to go with Sandra Rosario and John McCarthy.
Hi, we're here with Sandra Rosario and John McCarthy, business service representatives at Workforce Central in the Worcester office. Workforce Central, three locations here in Central Massachusetts, Worcester, Southbridge, and Milford. So thank you for being on the Working Lunch.
Thank you.
Great to be here, Jeff.
And as business service representatives, you offer a number of services to employers in our region. One of those services or programs is called Rapid Response, and Sandra, you do a bit of work with that. Can you tell us a little bit about the program?
Okay, I've been working with Rapid Response, and Rapid Response is a federally mandated pre-layoff service designed for companies and employees experiencing a layoff or a closing.
Okay, so and they can also help with companies that to avoid even having to do layoffs potentially when they go in, when you or others would go in to talk to a business. When you go in, what's some of the things that like what's a program that might help them avoid having to layoffs in the
Well,
first place?
there's work sharing.
Okay, can you tell me about that?
Work sharing is when the company will lower their hours so that nobody gets laid off.
Okay.
So somebody that's working 40 hours can be cut down to 20 hours, and that way nobody gets laid off. Everybody starts working the same amount of hours.
And the program, actually, Workshare program, would kick in the difference for that employee, or kick in an amount of funding to kind of make up for some of the drop in pay they'd receive from their company.
Correct.
And the thinking on that, and it's actually very cost effective for the state, because instead of paying an entire unemployment insurance claim, they're actually just paying a small portion of what they would have paid for someone if they'd gotten laid off.
Correct.
So if you can do that company-wide, then that actually helps stave off having to do layoffs, which of course really helps people in the long run maintain where they're at in the workplace. So that's a really neat thing. And then if unfortunately a company does have to go forward with layoffs, there's some services that Rapid Response would provide to them and to the employees.
Yes, when a company is actually closing or there's going to be a layoff, a sizable amount, normally it's 50 or more, but we will come in to any company that has a layoff. And what we do is we go in there and we prepare the employees so that they'll be ready and get off and running once they do get laid off. We will go in there and provide resume services for them. We would give them workshops. We would give them workshops on interviewing, resume writing. Mm-hmm. Not only do we do the workshops on resume writing, but Rapid Response will type and word their resumes for them so that they can have a base so when they are unemployed.
And I know one of the neat features that you've been a part of, different projects, is that actually helping to try to reconnect people with employment, even as they're, in some instances, before they're technically laid off from that company. So if, for instance, one manufacturer is laying off someone and we know of another manufacturer that might be hiring with similar skill sets, to actually make that connection for that employee. So,
Correct.
Again, saving the money, saving state resources that would be used to pay out unemployment insurance, and for that employee, how great is that instead of facing a layoff and downtime and maybe missing some bills or missing some payments with mortgage or whatever, they're able to step right into another position.
Correct. And not only that, but that talking about a little bit more about that and elaborating on it, we have gone into companies that are experiencing a layoff, and we do job fairs right on the company site. So we network with companies that have similar similar jobs that they can transfer their skills from one job into another.
Isn't that great?
And the companies are very receptive. Once I'll go out and start job matching, and the company allows us to have a job fair, the companies that we're reaching out to are very receptive and want these people, because these are working people. These people have not been laid off,
Sure.
and they go from one job right into the next job.
So they've for the hiring company, they get to hire people that have shown work experience in that industry, and then for the company that's unfortunately laying off people, that's not a pleasant thing for them. So they get to at least help make that connection for their staff. That it's been my experience that they feel, they're actually feeling bad about having to end that relationship when they're laying off people. So this is kind of a win for everybody, if you will. Now, John, again, just to remind folks, we're here with Sandra Rosario, John McCarthy, Business Service Representatives at Workforce Central here in Worcester. So, John, can you tell us a little bit about some of the other benefits that the Workforce Central can provide to employees?
Absolutely,
employers?
Jeff. When I first meet with companies, I like to do a kind of a needs assessment, see how we can keep local Worcester businesses healthy and happy, help them with their staffing needs, help them with supportive services, whether it's services through the City Manager's Office of Economic Development or, state or federal program. One of my favorite programs that I like to talk about is the Workforce Training Fund. There are 3 basic grants that go along with the Workforce Training Fund. 2 of them are training grants for workers who are currently working for the company, and the third is called the Hiring Incentive Training Grant, which is an incentive to hire Massachusetts residents who have been unemployed for 6 months or longer, or if you're a veteran and you're currently unemployed, that 6-month waiting period is waived.
So companies can work with you as the business service representatives to not only find the talent that they might be looking for when filling vacancies, but they can also find other incentives that might be out there for the folks they're hiring, or in some cases for training for their current staff. So what a great opportunity for businesses. Now I know you've been very busy. I hear in February, in March, you have a job fair coming up in partnership with Worcester Sharks and the DCU Center. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. It's a very exciting event, probably the most fun event that we work on all year long. 3 years ago, we partnered with the Worcester Sharks hockey team to facilitate a job fair at the DCU Center, and they have been just fantastic corporate partners and corporate neighbors. They've helped us set up a job fair that last March hosted 78 local companies.
Wow.
And almost 2,000 job seekers.
And I think that's the largest in the state by a pretty substantial margin, from what I understand.
It was the largest that any job center has done.
Well, kudos to you and your colleagues for pulling that together. So again, this year it's Friday, March 15th. At the DCU Center, and there's a deal that you get if you want to stay after the job fair to go to the game.
The job fair will be 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. The Worcester Sharks are offering tickets, buy one get one free, to that night's game. Would be $11, basically for 2 tickets, and as an added incentive, Avery Bradley, a starting guard for the Boston Celtics, will be at that night's game signing autographs as well.
Will he be wearing skates, I guess, is the question. Probably no skates, right?
He'll probably be dropping the puck. But,
I was going to say, what was it? Our friends at the Worcester Sharks have been very innovative in some of their marketing. I think they had they had Gronkowski come and spike a puck. So maybe Bradley will slam dunk a puck or something, right? So
I'd like to see that.
Well, thanks for getting. Is there any other? And I know I should mention too. You've been helping support a young adult job fair for summer jobs and beyond. with current students. Basically, it's geared towards college students. We're doing that in partnership with Worcester State University. And that's going to be happening later in the month in March. It's going to be March 26th in the afternoon. And that's a great opportunity, especially for those companies that hire a lot of seasonal staff or young staff throughout the school year, part-time staff. So it's a great opportunity for them to come out and meet local college students and high school seniors that will be there for that job fair. So any other thoughts on business service? I know we keep you busy here, and thank God we have you as a resource for our local companies. What's the best way for a company to get in touch? I know you've got a great website. Is that one of the best ways for them, an employer to contact you?
For me, any employer can call me on my direct line. My telephone number is 508-373-7618. And I will be more than happy to answer any questions that they might have regarding layoffs or to familiarize them with the Career Center. One of the last things that I would like to say is that you should use your Career Center, because we have great seasoned workers here that are always willing to take that extra step to help you reinvent yourself.
That's a great point, that the staff here really do go the extra mile with
Absolutely.
clients. And the website is Workforce Central MA, as in Massachusetts, workforcecentralma.org. So we encourage folks to go and check out that. A lot of great resources just on the website, a lot of great links and a lot of great information. Thank you. Did you have a closing, one final thought?
Would like to say, for any local Worcester business, please give me a call at 508-373-7604. I'd be more than happy to come out to your company or invite you to come to the Career Center. Large business, small business, I'd be more than happy to explain in greater detail the level of service that we have available for you. We facilitate job fairs on a regular basis for the general public, and a big part of what we do is facilitate the match between the skilled workers of southern Worcester County and all the quality businesses that we have in our area.
Great. Well, again, I appreciate the strong work that you all do. Best of luck with the large job fair, the humongous job fair, if you will, coming up at the DCU Center March 15th, and with all the rest of all the services you provide. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you do me a favor? Can you, nice and loud, look into the camera and say, "You're watching the Working Lunch Show"? One. I'll count to three, and we'll all do it together. You're watching the Working Lunch Show. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You're watching the Working Lunch Show. Can you do it by yourself now? Okay, we're back. That was our friends over at the end of that was over at the Rainbow Child Development Center. I always get a kick out of listening to those young kids. Better than listening to them than my voice for the full hour, right? So we did want to. So great to talk with Sandra and John about happenings in their work at the job center and the upcoming fair at DCU. So we do have an email that came in that we wanted to kind of highlight. So John, why don't you take it away with that?
Yeah, sifting through all the emails this month, we found one that was on about how to prepare for a job fair. So Sue in Worcester writes, "I'm looking to attend a job fair at the DCU Center. Can you give me some advice on how to prepare?" So I talked
pretty straightforward question.
Sue was right to the point. So I talked to the career specialist upstairs, Roy Lucas and Anna Toons, and asked them about what kind of things you would do at a job fair and what kind of things you might not want to do at the job fair. So they helped me compile a list of do's and don'ts.
So very helpful tips, you might say, if you're going to a job fair, not only the one at the DCU, but just in general.
Yeah, I mean, some of these might kind of come off as obvious, but
they're obvious maybe to people that have been to a job fair before.
Right.
Sure.
So do's: prepare a 30 to 60 second elevator speech or a commercial about yourself. So they actually broke this down, and I thought this was really helpful. They talked about 5 seconds on your personal info, 5 seconds on why you're here. You're here for an opportunity with this company. 5 seconds on your experience, your work history, your accolades, awards, any relevant experience. 5 minutes on your accomplishments.
5 minutes? Or?
I'm sorry, 5 seconds on your accomplishments.
I'm listening.
And then 10 seconds on your knowledge of their company.
So kind of like, "Hi, I'm Jeff Turgeon. I'm a job seeker. I'm really interested in working in such a field." And then go into a bit, talk about a bit about yourself. And so I guess part of it is brevity. You don't want to be talking for 5 minutes.
Right.
You're not going to have that much time.
Exactly. And that was actually one of the other don'ts is don't monopolize their time. Make a connection and then kind of go on your way, because there are other job seekers there and there are other employers that you probably want to talk to.
Sure. And probably the follow-up would be, hey, let me get your card, or let me see if I can, if there is more things you want to talk about. Obviously there would be, so if you can follow up with that conversation after the fact, then I'm sure they would kind of advise you if there's an online application process. Some other dues that you might want to.
Actually, I wanted to go to a don't. I was gonna go back and forth.
Oh, you're really mixing it up.
Positive,
You're mixing it up.
negative,
Bob, what do you think of that? Is that okay if we go to it from a production standpoint? We're okay with that? Do we
Yeah,
do
we're
and then a
definitely
don't?
okay.
You'll
with
allow that?
We'll do a don't. So
You're
don't
allowed
and
some.
do's?
Don't just drop your resume and walk off. They call this in the industry the drop and walk. You don't want to do that.
They call it that, do they?
I've heard that.
Yeah. Okay.
You kind of want to talk to the employer. You want to hand them their resume and give your elevator speech. Make that connection, like you said. Kind of get to the point where you can get a card or some sort of contact information to follow up.
Make
with.
a connection, a personal connection, if you could.
Yep.
No drop and walk.
Do have questions prepared for the recruiter. So not just, hey, what does your company do? You want to be more specific. Do a little research beforehand. Prepare for
Did
the
they
job
give you any
fair.
examples of questions that would be relevant or a good example?
I didn't, but I'm sure we could brainstorm as a group here and go for some, right?
Sorry to put you on the spot with that one. But so in other words, you wouldn't be like, oh, hey, what's your company do?
Exactly.
You'd be
wanna
like,
be
oh,
more
I
in
saw
depth.
you. I saw you're involved in chemical manufacturer. Do you have a maybe a question about quality control or something?
Right.
Would
So
it-
do a little bit more research and
Would appropriate question be like, how much vacation time do you give?
Yeah.
that brings me to another don't. Don't talk about vacation time,
Benefits.
benefits. That's really after an interview, after you're offered a job. That was when you want to discuss that kind of thing. Don't bring anyone with you who isn't looking for a job. I know this is one that we see a lot in our youth job fairs. Is a kid will show up with a bunch of his friends. The friends aren't looking for a job, and it's distracting. I think employers see that as a
It also
bad
shows,
sign.
that you maybe lack independence.
Right. So you want to go by yourself.
So even for the adult side too, you shouldn't have someone kind of hanging around you in the side of you or the back of you, just kind of standing there lurking.
That might
Why
be a
you-
little weird.
You're
Lurking in the
saying it-
shadows.
You're saying it as if I'm like
I was
stalking someone. No, I'm just saying in general, it would be kind of odd, right, to have someone over your shoulder just standing there while you're trying to make a personal connection. Have them kind of go to another booth or
Yep.
Okay.
Do dress professionally. I think that is key.
Is there any danger of overdressing? Do you think?
I would say a tuxedo probably wouldn't be the
would be a bit
place.
overdressing.
But a suit,
for women-
business casual,
Yeah.
which wouldn't be a tuxedo T-shirt, which I know.
No, I think there's a term too. If someone does try to dress in a way that brings maybe over attention to themselves, like you wouldn't want to like some people. I know some people are like, oh, I want to stand out in the crowd, so I'm going to wear like a very bright.
Almost like peacocking. Is that?
I think that's the
Where
term.
you're headed with
Yeah, I've heard that before. you want to show that you would fit in that organization, right?
Yep.
And not so you're not there to get negative attention. It's not attention at all costs. It's really just kind of, you should probably be a bit understated but very professional at the same time. So
Absolutely.
So for women that might mean, a business, a suit, pantsuit, skirt suit, something on that line, but not like, provocatively dressing or going like dancing like you're going out dancing. For men, it would mean kind of similar. Like you said, not a tux, but maybe a sport coat and slacks, or a business suit would always be, I imagine, in something.
You probably wouldn't want to wear a cape or pajama pants.
I like your thinking on this. A cape.
Gotta think
and
outside the
pajama
box.
pants would be don'ts.
If somebody doesn't say no,
I'm going
somebody
to
will
write
do
those
it.
down. No cape or pajama pants.
And then, let's see. Another don't is to not go in with don't go in with unrealistic expectations. So you shouldn't
Okay.
go. Oh, I'm going to go to this job fair and I'm going to have a job by the time I go home. That I think would be an unrealistic expectation. But if you go with the expectation that you'll meet some employers, maybe get some business cards, find out about some organizations,
Make a good connection.
make a good connection, that would be.
So there's a
realistic.
fine line, between positive thinking and having confidence and having that mindset of, hey, things are going to turn out good if I go to this event. I want to be successful, with kind of unrealistic expectations and feeling kind of let down, or maybe pressing at that point of connection to be like, instead of just kind of making a connection, you're trying too hard to get a job offer right then and there.
Right.
Yeah.
And the last do that I have here, I think, is probably one of the most important. It's kind of overarching. Treat the job fair like an interview, like your initial interview.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of encompasses dressing appropriately, a firm handshake, eye contact, a strong voice. So that's a good way to look at it.
It's your first impression. Right?
Exactly.
So
you only get
definitely
one.
all those.
Right?
Yeah, it's true. Thank you for that. That's a very helpful list, and I
And-
appreciate the folks at the Job Center for helping us put that together. Bob, anything you want to add? Anything from your?
We should thank Sue too, don't you? We should thank Sue for the email.
Oh, and Sue for the email. Yes, thank you very much for that email.
And if people would like to send any sort of questions or comments, they can email us at workinglunch@wcuw.org.
Working lunch, one word. Working
word.
lunch at wcuw.org.
Great.
Excellent.
Well, I mentioned before, it is a busy month coming up. We did have another event that's coming up in the community that the Central Mass Workforce Investment Board and the Workforce Central Job Center will be a part of with other community leaders, and it's a 2-day seminar on undoing racism. And obviously, we have a very diverse population in our region and in the community here, and we want to make sure that everyone is that we're understanding the different dynamics that may exist within our community, within the social context that we operate. So I'm excited about attending that seminar. We actually have an interview with Derek Brindisi from the Department of Public Health, who's helping to sponsor that. So at this point, Bob, are we ready to go to that interview? So, hi, we're here with Derek Brindisi, the Director of Public Health for City of Worcester. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being on the Working Lunch.
Sure, thanks for having us.
You're part of the Worcester Partnership for Racial and Ethnic Health Equity, and you're sponsoring an event coming up, a 2-day seminar on undoing racism. Can you tell us a little bit about that workshop?
Sure. So the Partnership for Health Equity has been in existence in the city now since 2007. And it's a group that comes together, and we try to focus collaboratively with key stakeholders and residents in the city to focus on those issues of disparities and racial and ethnic health disparities in particular. One focus of this is that we know that race plays probably the most critical factor in people's health outcomes. And so with limited dollars provided by the State Department of Public Health, we have been able to bring a group out of New Orleans, the People's Institute of Survival and Beyond, to Worcester. This is the 3rd year running, to hold a 2-day training, and it's focused on race. So after this year's training, we expect to have a cohort of 150 individuals in organizations that have gone through this type of training.
Yeah, and having heard from some of the past participants, they've just raved about the training and about the way it gave them a fresh perspective on this issue, and really kind of help open their eyes about how they go about doing their business. So it sounds like a really exciting event. Is there still space available? It's happening March 14th and 15th, and it's hosted by the Mass College of Pharmacy. Is that the location, I believe?
That's right. So it's a 2-day event. It'll be at the 9th floor of the Mass College of Pharmacy. They've been very generous in offering their space for those 2 days, and we appreciate that. But these are 2 all-day events. Any participant, we would ask that you set aside the 2 full days because they build on each other. So if you don't attend the first day, you don't understand what's happening on the second day. And if you don't go the second day, then you don't get the full grasp of what they were trying to build upon on day one.
Sure. And the Workforce Board and our Job Center, Workforce Central, will be sending a team of staff and volunteers. And we're excited about understanding the issues better. Certainly we serve a very diverse population, both here in the city as well as in the region. And so having this experience, I think, is going to help us be a better integrated in the services we deliver. So we're excited about it. And is there still space available, do you know?
We're asking, right now we're getting close to the MAC. We can only hold 30 to 35 participants during this training. And we're asking all potential participants to reach out to Common Pathways at commonpathways@gmail.com and try to RSVP before the space is full.
So that's commonpathways@gmail.com to find out if there's any space available. So again, we want to thank you for being here and telling us about all the exciting stuff you have going on and about this exciting seminar.
Great.
This is WCUW Worcester 91.3 FM, community radio serving central Massachusetts. And as a community radio station, we depend on our membership and our listeners, as well as underwriters who support WCUW. And just to let you know that our spring membership drive will be taking place from March 8th through Sunday, March 17th. So we hope you can participate in that. And I'll turn it back over to Jeff and Sean.
Well, thank you, Bob. I appreciate that. It's membership drive, obviously very important here to WCUW, and proud to participate myself in that. So, we did want to take a couple minutes to talk about some current news. Obviously, right now, dominating the headlines nationally is the federal budget talks around the sequestration. Mm-hmm. So, we quite frankly don't know what's going to happen with that. We're not, kind of privy to the ins and outs of that discussion, so hopefully they'll be able to make some informed and wise choices with that. But maybe some other topics that are a bit closer to home or a bit more in line with things that we work with on a daily basis. I should mention, with the sequestration, though, it will impact local services here offered through Workforce Central, some of our youth workforce development programs. But some other things that are happening in the news, Sean.
I know unemployment's kind of been something that we've been talking about. We kind of touch upon it every show, just a little bit. And I saw an article in the Telegram Gazette earlier this week about unemployment. Mm-hmm. And it was saying that here locally in Worcester, back in April and May, our unemployment rate was around 6.4. And towards the end of the year, in January, it's actually risen to 7.2.
Mm-hmm. So it's going back up.
So, I mean, as far as you look at that article, you'd think that that's a bad thing. There aren't any jobs out there. But in reading the article, they actually talk about how when the employment rate went down to 6.4, it actually got a lot of job seekers enthusiastic, and a lot of new job seekers had entered the market. So it shows it's not a good thing, but it's not a bad thing. It's almost kind of
not as bad as it may sound. Going from 6.4 to 7.2, you would think, oh boy, a lot of people get laid off.
What's happening?
Yeah, I do think that the economy is in a bit of a stall right now. Mm-hmm. But like you said, there are some more, because there were some bright spots earlier on. More people that had kind of gone out of the job market, if you will. Are coming back in. Some of those people coming back in too are older workers, senior workers, and some of them are people that basically had retired and now coming back in. Yeah. And so if they're job searching, they're getting now counted again back in the unemployment numbers. But also a lot of those older workers are finding jobs, and kind of a unintended negative consequence from that is while that on the surface seems like a good thing, they have more money in their pockets, they're being able to stay financially secure. One of the things that we're seeing, I'm looking at have a story here from the Daily Mail Online, and that's a UK publication. In Britain, they're tracking this, and it tracks very similar to here in the States, about the fact that a lot of the new employment that's happening, new hires, are actually older workers, and that the problem with that, or the downside of that, if you will, is that those that are coming out of college are having a very difficult time landing employment. Yep. And in fact, we've talked a lot about youth employment as being such an important factor for young people to get those success skills they need.
It's where you really get those kind of skills. It's where you really
hands-on learning, right?
Them. Yeah, exactly.
And so, what's happening is, those older retirees or older workers are coming back in. They're taking, they're getting those jobs and getting squeezed out of those younger workers.
Those traditional youth jobs are now turning into
Youth jobs, and also, I think we're seeing too, there's a bit of lag in those college sector, college graduate jobs. So I know you were part of an event up with our colleagues in North Central up in the Lemon Street area that Paul Harrington was privy to. Why don't you talk a little bit about that? That was a really neat event.
It really was. It was called Our Youth, Your Workforce, Our Future. And it was a Job One sponsored event, which I know our office and North Central's WIB, which is our counterparts, have partnered to put this together. And Paul Harrington spoke, and he spoke about...
And Paul Harrington is a professor at Drexel University. He used to be at Northeastern University in their Center for Labor Market Studies. Done some phenomenal research into employment statistics, and especially youth employment too, and the effects of that. So what were some of the things that came up?
And then they also had an employer panel with people who traditionally have hired youth and have done a lot for youth employment, including Chris Crowley from Polar Beverages here in the city.
And the Crowley family, of course, does a lot of work up in that area with Mount Wachusett.
Yep.
They hire, literally hundreds of young people to work at the mountain throughout the ski season. And so as representing the Crowley family, I know that he had a lot to say kind of about both sides of that. So
they talked about how they invest in youth and how it's helped their company. And it was a great event. I think the biggest takeaway from that event was that there's more ways to help, not just hiring a youth, but you can sponsor programs, you can host a facility tour, you can be a speaker at an event.
Get involved,
Job
I guess,
chat.
would be the message. That's
Yeah.
been the message overall of Job One, right? Is for business folks, they need to understand how important they are to the process of youth development, even though they traditionally now they're kind of separate from it.
Yep.
They rely on schools to do that education. Schools and family are the traditional kind of roots, but if you look kind of long-term historically, business used to be very involved with that youth development, and now it's more kind of few and far between the businesses that have the time and manpower to kind of get involved. And what we're trying to make that big push is, please, from the business side, long term, we really need that connection there to be strong in order to have our young people develop.
Yeah,
and if you look in Germany or whatnot, they've got a very strong apprentice system kind of developed over time, and guilds and whatnot.
In one of the organizations here in the city that's been helping us look at youth employment, and they also oversee our Youth Works program over the summer, is the City of Worcester's Youth Opportunities Office. And I actually had a chance to sit down with Jesse Edwards, the director there. And Bob, do we have... Can we roll that?
Oh, we have some. We
have an interview.
Just had a coincidence.
Just
Excellent.
on the tip of my finger.
I'm here with Jesse Edwards, the director of the Youth Opportunities Office for the City of Worcester. Jesse, how you doing today?
Good. How are you, Sean?
Good. I'm glad you had a couple minutes to sit down with us today in the working lunch hour.
No problem.
It's a little known fact about Jesse. He does a little DJing work on the side, and he created the intro to the working lunch. So big props to Jesse on that. Thank you.
Not a problem. Not a problem at all.
So Jesse, I understand the Youth Opportunities Office has developed a youth council, which is it the first of its kind in Worcester? Or?
It is. It's our first year doing a youth council. 5 years ago when I started this job, there was a call from the community to, we did a youth needs assessment here in the city, talked to a number of different youth serving organizations as well as a number of youth in the city about what are their needs, what are they looking for, that the city can play a role. And one of the things that young people said was they wanted a closer connection to city government. They wanted a youth council. So one of my roles was to develop this youth council led from this office. So, we looked at best practices around the state and around the country, what other communities are doing for youth councils. And we took a few bits and pieces from other youth councils in terms of setting up the structure for ours. But we have a group of 12 young men and women from across the city that serve on this youth council.
Yeah, and they're a great group, I must say. I had the pleasure of sitting in on one of your meetings where you guys were going over some of the projects the youth will be working on for the year, and very impressive youth. So another thing I know that your office coordinates is the Youth Works program, which is the summer jobs program here in the city. Can you tell us a little bit about what you have shaping up for this summer?
Sure.
Upcoming summer?
Each year, the state, depending on funding, provides a number of communities around the state with funding to coordinate summer youth employment programs. The Central Mass Workforce Investment Board oversees the funding, and we contract with an outside agency to actually run the program. My role is to work with that community-based organization, as well as working with a number of different community-based organizations around the city to coordinate the program, make sure we're reaching a number of youth that the grant required. There's a number of different requirements for the grant or for the funding. They have to be income eligible. They have to live in Worcester. Fortunately, last year we were also able to serve 2 communities outside of Worcester. But for the most part, the young people do have to meet those income standards, and we've had a pretty successful few years that we've been part of the program. UMass Memorial serves as the match. There's a private sector match, funding match required for the grant. So UMass has served as that match over the past few years through their Building Brighter Futures with Youth program. So it's been a very successful program. We're gearing up for this summer. We've already met with a number of agencies around the planning and coordination of the program, and we have some really exciting things coming up for this summer. One thing that we are looking for is obviously more employer partners to come to the table and assist.
I was going to mention that. If an employer wants to get involved, I think I saw an email go out about a scope of work they have to fill out, and they can get that from your office, or they get that from Worcester Community Action
Worcester Community Action Council, or they could request that through my office. Basically, what we're looking for is for the employer to tell us what they're going to be doing with the young person or young people who potentially could be placed at their place of employment. We're not looking for young people to sweep brooms or to do filing. We want them, we want them to have a really good summer work experience that could possibly lead toward part-time employment down the road, or provide them with career development skills. So it's a very brief scope of work that we're looking for from the employer partner in terms of what we're looking for this summer.
Again, I'm here with Jesse Edwards, the Director of the Youth Opportunities Office for the City of Worcester. So Jesse, kind of going along with that piece on the importance of youth employment, I know one of the projects that our office is working on with your office is this Youth Ambassadors program.
Correct.
So can you tell us a little bit about that, what
Sure.
that's going to look like?
Sure. The Youth Ambassadors project is a new project that we're working on this year. And what we're looking to do is employ young people, teenagers who typically would probably benefit from a summer youth employment opportunity, to go out and talk with local businesses about what their perceptions are of youth employers or youth employment. What are their hesitations, or what are their reservations about hiring young people, or do they in fact hire young people, and what have their experiences been with that, hiring of a young person. So again, we're looking for probably about 5 to 6 young people who will work for the Youth Opportunities Office for the city, be a part-time employment position before the summer program starts. Go out, speak with a number of different employers, bring that data back, and we can learn from what young people are telling us, and give young people an opportunity to gain some really good work, pre-summer youth employment skills.
Because there'll be a training portion involved with this as well, where they'll learn some kind of sales, some customer service skills that can be used in their job search and throughout life.
Absolutely,
really.
absolutely. And in the end, we hope that they'll put together a presentation. What was some of the data that they found out there, and we can use that data to better our program.
Right. Our offices can then use that information to kind of figure out why employers aren't hiring youth and how we can face that.
Yeah.
So Jesse, was there any other things that you wanted to talk about that your office is working on?
One of the other projects that my office currently has is we just developed our Facebook. It's a really great resource for young people who are looking for jobs. It's a great resource for young people who are looking for advice, career advice. Every day we do job searches, and we post jobs on our Facebook that cater to young people. So if there's a job at the local Gap or the local mall looking for sales associates, or any type of job, that has a sort of young person in mind, we post that on our Facebook. We also post Did You Know? And we give young people facts about career options or about career jobs. We also have a word on the street, and we go out and we talk to young people in the community right outside here at City Hall, and we just ask them a question. The question is typically related to employment. So we ask them a question, we take their picture. Of course, they have to sign a release. But we take their picture and we post it on our Facebook. So it gives them an opportunity to get connected to Facebook. It gives them an opportunity to see their picture on Facebook. If they like it, then their friends will see it. And then, it's just a way to really generate.
Social media will really kind of get that message out.
Absolutely. It's a way to just generate excitement and generate people going to the Facebook. Because, again, we post employment. We post everything about jobs for young people on there.
Great. Great. Well, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
So I think the message out there is to find the Youth Opportunities Office on Facebook, find him on Twitter, go to his website. Is it yoworcester.org?
Correct. YOOWorcester.com.
All right. Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're back. Sean, great job with that interview.
Thanks.
Your interviewing skills are coming. Boy.
It's Jesse carried that, so.
Well, we appreciate Jesse coming on the show and talking about his office and what they're doing there. So, every person needs to start someplace
Somewhere,
with
yep.
their career. I know you've done some research. I see it right in front of you. I don't actually know the results of the research, but they're famous people have also had some interesting
before they were famous,
jobs.
where they started out.
So let's see if we can guess some people.
So our first celebrity you might recognize. You sang the hits "Wake Up Maggie" and "Forever
Rod
Young."
Stewart.
Rod Stewart.
So
Do you have any guesses on where Rod Stewart started his career?
I'm gonna guess busboy.
Soccer.
He was a gravedigger.
An actual grave digger.
So a young Rod Stewart struggled with a lot of
I did that
fear
one
of
summer.
death, and so he thought about facing his fears, getting as close to death as he can. He became a gravedigger.
Wow.
I
Wait, what?
I did that one summer at Hope Cemetery.
Oh, there you go.
And yet.
And then what songs did you sing?
Yeah, I was gonna say
I didn't.
So
sing any Rod Stewart.
not all gravediggers turn out to be multi-platinum recording artists, apparently. Interesting. Was that your first job, Bob?
No.
Okay, because I think we're gonna guess yours in a minute here.
Pretty soon.
Okay. How about someone else? Give us another.
Our next celebrity he starred in Pulp Fiction.
John Travolta.
No, well, he's one of the
Bruce Willis.
He's not a main character. He's in Bruce Willis's story though. I'm just gonna give it to you, Christopher Walken.
Oh, you do a pretty good Christopher Walken impersonation. Let's see if we can put you on the spot.
Let's see if you get it right, then maybe I'll do it.
All right, that'll be the incentive.
That's the prize.
So what
was his first
job?
job?
What was Christopher Walken's first job?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. See, that was horrible. Christopher
I thought
Walken.
that was pretty good.
That was all right, yeah.
Bob?
Deliver newspapers.
Oh, that's a good guess. I'm going to guess probably something a little bit unusual. I'm going to guess, let's see. Carney. He was a carny.
Very close. He was actually in a traveling circus, and he trained a lion. He was a lion tamer.
A lion tamer.
A lion tamer at age 13. So it's
I'm thinking that doesn't pass like OSHA regulations or something, right?
He does say that Sheba the lion was very old and was more like a dog. So there's a chance it could be a dog that they.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Wait a minute. What kind of
tamer.
circus is this? I'm still not. I don't know.
This next celebrity you might recognize from his days in the rugby field. He also is a host of the very highly rated Working Lunch show. Bob, do you have any guesses on who that celebrity might be?
What celebrity?
All
right, so Bob's gonna guess my first job.
What do you think Jeff's first job was?
Hamburgers, slung hamburgers for McDonald's.
He does look like a.
You know what? I did work at McDonald's. As a matter of fact, I worked at McDonald's.
Was that the first job?
No, that was my first job. But I did work at McDonald's right downtown Worcester, right around the corner from our office, and now it's out of business.
Out of business.
Out of business.
Out of business.
So before the burger job, what do you think he was?
First job.
I have no idea. I thought it would be the McDonald's.
I was a dog kennel attendant.
Cool.
Yeah, I had to take care of their taking care of business, I guess you'd say.
Right.
That was my role.
So it wasn't a training thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I was training all right.
All right.
Served me well all these years. Bob, so we're gonna guess your first job, Sean. What do you think?
What did you say? Was gravedigger your first job? Or?
No.
Oh, your first
Yeah,
job.
you gotta work. You can't just walk into the graveyard and start digging.
I
You
had
gotta
to-
work.
I
I'm
had
gonna
to
say
do other
I'm gonna
things.
say snow shoveler because that's how he started with the digging.
Waxing the shovels.
The digging.
Yeah.
No, the digging.
Shoveling it. Yes.
I'm gonna go with newspaper route. I think
Oh,
Bob
you
looks
think
like
he
a paper
because he
boy.
gave his own thing there. I'm gonna say either snow shoveling or horse stable attendant
That's cool. Both of them are
because
good
they
guesses.
use shovels as well.
Right,
There
right.
was a shovel involved.
So it's the skills.
No, none of them are correct. I worked at St. Vincent's Hospital up on Vernon Hill.
Oh, I knew that.
I actually knew that.
I knew that
In-
too. I didn't think it was his first
In
job.
Yeah.
surgery.
Ah.
And you told me stories about you and the other interns.
In surgery, we work housekeeping, and we made sure everything was clean for the next day's surgery. With
Sounds
surgery.
like a pretty interesting job for a young person. How old were you at the time?
16. 16.
And it sounds like you guys learned a lot from your
Sean,
first
what about
jobs.
your first job?
You guys have any guesses? It's not that. It's not that good.
You grew up in where? Northbridge, Uxbridge,
Douglas.
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 Yep. Farm country.
Yeah.
A lot of state forests there.
Yeah.
Oh, State Forest Park.
That wasn't a hint. It was just describing Douglas.
All right. Describe.
I'm gonna go with lifeguard.
I'd go with an attendant at the State Forest.
No, I was actually a janitor at Douglas High School for the summer.
Oh,
They hired
wow.
a bunch of students
Whoa.
there. We were seniors. A couple of my buddies and I, we did it. And it was a great summer. We had a great time.
Guessing lots of shenanigans
A
going
whole
on.
bunch
there.
of shenanigans, but a whole bunch of clean classrooms too.
Sure.
Very
Sure,
good.
if that's your story and you're sticking to
All
it,
right.
right?
He's sticking through it.
Well, I think we've just about burned through another hour here, right?
Yeah, you could.
Do we
do
have
it-
time for
you
any
could-
other?
I thought you were going to do a little bit of review of the calendar for some of the
That's
folks.
right.
If
Do
you'd
we have
like
time
to
for
do
that?
that.
Do we have time
Yes,
for
we
that?
do.
So we did mention Big Job Fair
Yep.
at DCU Center on March 15th. That's from 1 to 5 p.m. We also have the college student and high school senior job fair at Worcester State University on the afternoon of March 26th. On April 2nd, there will be up at Worcester Technical High School a seminar and a panel, if you will, talking about youth employment and how to improve prospects for young people. That's going to be the morning of April 2nd. And so check the CMWIB website for that. The Commonwealth Corporation is sponsoring that, so we'll have information up on our website regarding that event too as it unfolds. The Undoing Racism 2-day seminar, March 14th and 15th.
Now, are there slots still for that, or did I hear that might be filled up, or
There are, I
there are
believe,
some slots? Okay.
there may be some slots available.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it is very popular. It's a very intense and informative workshop. So, Bob, also, do we ever get? We know March, another big event going on in the city. Probably one of the biggest events in the city throughout the annual calendar.
Oh,
St.
that's
Patrick's
the
Day
St.
Parade.
Patrick's Day. There you
St.
go.
Patrick's Day
And
Parade.
we don't have a date for that. Anybody know?
I think Jonathan said it was the 17th. I think. I mean,
I know that they coordinated
no, the
it's a
weekend
week
before.
Yeah, it's the week before
It's
the one
before.
in Boston. Phil Nidry from our office is a former what do you call parade
Marshall.
Marshall,
He was
yeah.
farmer marshal for the parade.
and I believe they give the marshals a shillelagh. Right? Did I say that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, with a name like with a name like Zukowski and
You would-
Turgid,
you
we
would
can't
know.
get this
You
right.
would know
But a
that,
name
of
like
course.
Magali, you would think.
You would think that.
You would think that. Yes.
So there you go. So what's happening? What's happening in the coming week? It's also Restaurant Week here in Worcester.
Oh yeah. Support your local restaurants. I actually went to People's Kitchen last night. Had a great meal.
It sounds like it just every time I hear that name, it just sounds like it's some sort of like I would think they'd be eating like like some sort of Soviet diet. Right?
Yes.
Not
Right?
quite.
Yep. And
I'm sure fabulous restaurants. Get
Oh, great
reviews.
restaurant.
So-
Great food.
we also have to remind the folk that we'll be back here March 27th
That's
for
right.
another working lunch.
For another hour.
High noon.
And the Arbitron ratings have come in. I think we are
Off the charts.
I think we are the highest rated workforce focused radio shows in all of the Northeast.
Wow.
Yeah, I think we're the only
Next
show,
the world.
workforce focused show in the Northeast. That's what helps with those ratings there. So
Thank
I
you
do
for joining us. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
no, I was just gonna. You were kind of right in line with what I was saying. I wanted to thank John McCarthy and Sandra Rosario again, as well as Derek Brindisi, Jesse Edwards. I want to thank folks at the Government Channel, Jessica and Judy, for helping us put another simulcast together that'll be aired on their channel, Channel 12. And for Bob for doing a great job with our production again this week.
And thank you, Jeff, for just being you.
Sometimes I need that, Sean. Appreciate that. Oh, you never did your Christopher Walken.
Next time, next show.
That's the teaser for the next show. Bob, are we ready to take it our outro?
Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more.